You can see the papers here with Lewandowski, without Lamine Yamal, and this says the Lamine puzzle. Obviously, what are we going to see? Who are they going to use to replace Lamine Yamal, and how do they play without him? We showed you the stats on yesterday's show that in the 2 games that he hasn't started, Barcelona have lost both of those games. Now, this is Hansi Flick asked if Barcelona can win without Lamine Yamal, and he said, I will ask the team this on Saturday. I think it's a good question for them. Against Real Sociedad, we didn't play very good, so that was the reason. It was not about Lamine not playing. We have players who can play for him on the right. It could be Rafinha, it could be Dani Olmo, it could be Fermin Lopez. It could also be Pablo Torre or Pau Victor. So it looks as though there's some changes going to have to be made. Dan, you do wonder, and I wonder if Luis Garcia has been talking in your ear today, as to whether this is a cause for concern for Barcelona fans having to replace Lamine Yamal right now.
Fortunately, Luis has a life, and we haven't discussed it so far, but I am intrigued to see what he has to say about who you would choose to replace Lamine Yamal.
No, I guess straight away the first one who comes to mind is Rafinha. I think that is because he mentioned Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, we haven't seen Dani Olmo playing on that right side. Normally plays on the left side because he likes to make that kind of diagonal. Fermin Lopez could be one of those, or one of the players who can be big, because it's true that he can play that both roles, but still, I don't think that at that position. So I think the best fit is Rafinha, because he's similar, he's intense, he's got ability on 1v1 situation, he makes those diagonal looking to his left foot. But again, we are talking about a team that overall, and I agree 100% with Hansi Flick, they just didn't play well in the last game. It wasn't because Lamine Yamal wasn't there. Of course, imagine Real Madrid without Vini Jr. Right now, it will be probably a disaster. We could see against Osasuna. So, of course, he's a very important player, but he's not what Barcelona is all about right now. It's about the team performance, how every single one of the players who is involved into the game, he kind of delivers what is expected from him. So I think it's not only.
What if they don't? What if they don't, Luis? What if they can't get the win against Celta Vigo, and it's going to be us, the media here, everyone is going to be talking about how they're Lamine Yamal dependent?
Yeah, yes, it will be. It will happen because that's what we do.
Yeah, of course.
In the moment that we'll find something to a point and decide, but I don't think that is going to happen. It's true that Celta Vigo is playing very well. He's got that ability this year to have the ball, to have the possession. With Iago Aspas, you know, then anything can happen because he's a player who is very dangerous. But still, I think that right now Barcelona is in that kind of momentum that even though that we saw in the last game, they can struggle because that high line, that they need to bring that intensity during 90 minutes. That's not easy. I think that they are just good enough at the moment to win against any team.
Yes, because of that game that led into the international break that makes this game against Celta Vigo interesting now as to how Barcelona will respond, because we saw a lot of what we saw that went wrong for Barcelona last season in that game against La Real.
Yeah, best way to cover him?
Sorry?
Best way to cover him?
Getting Dani Olmo on the side, getting him a run of games and putting, I agree, Dani Olmo is not going to work the best from the wider positions. Probably Fermin Lopez would go out there and do a job. But there's another side to this. Lamine Yamal, fantastic player, right? I think we all agree. Already achieved some great things. The suggestion is, from us and the Spanish media, that Barcelona are reliant on a 17-year-old. If that's the case, they will not win the league this year. They will not. Right? You cannot be so reliant. I know Luis talked about Vinicius Jr., but he's not 17. He's been there, seen it, done it, worn the T-shirt. You cannot be so reliant, as good as he is, on a 17-year-old. So you have to find a way. And if you can't find a way to get around these issues, because maybe your squad's not good enough or players are not good enough or to come in and do a job, this great run at the start of the season will falter very quickly and they won't win the league. So they have to find a way to get around these problems. It's what Ancelotti did last year, big time. There's no doubt, and he's having to do it again this year. But if this dressing room thinks that it's so reliant on a 17-year-old, that's a problem.
I don't think it's just being reliant on Lamine Yamal, but that balance, Rafinha, who's been so good this season, and then Lamine Yamal on the other, and all of a sudden you, from either flank, Barcelona just threatened, and with Lewandowski in the form that he is. Now all of a sudden, without Lamine Yamal, you've only got. But
that's a perfect world, isn't it? Having that front three for all of the season.
But without Lamine Yamal, now you can focus more squarely on certainly nullifying Rafinha, and I think that's quite clearly taken away from from Barcelona. And Fermin Lopez coming in with the greatest respect, Barcelona, Real Madrid are finding that out. When you take arguably the best player in the world in a certain position out of the team, it's not easy. Even when you're talking about a right back in Carvajal. Look at how Real Madrid have struggled without him. Replacing that kind of talent is not that easy. And I think Barcelona are having that conundrum of their own in trying to figure out how do they keep both wings being as productive as they had been.
You don't have a like for like. You just don't have it, right? So nobody's going to come in and do the job that Lamine Yamal has done. They just don't have that kind of player with that ability to beat a fullback, change a game, put a cross in, play a pass. One of the things for me to get round this is somehow making sure that, different position I know, but Dani Olmo has a long, strong run of games without an injury. I think he brings such quality in the final third from the midfield that can supplement the fact that maybe they do lose one or two players. But he's had these issues. But if Hansi Flick can get him through this run of games to the winter break and then forward from there and get him playing like we know Dani Olmo can, then I think that solves a few of the problems, not having one or two others. But that's a big question mark, because we've seen, you know, we all know Dani Olmo's a very good player, but we've seen he's had some issues. I think it's hugely important, if they are missing a Rafinha or they're missing a Lamine Yamal, that players like Dani Olmo are fit and they are carrying the can for the others.
Luis, is it dangerous for Barcelona to have that over-reliance on Lamine Yamal? Because we have seen that when he doesn't have these injuries, Hansi Flick does tend to always want to play him.
Yes, of course. In the end, he's a very important player, but I agree with Craig. I mean, if Barcelona is relying on a very young talent, it's going to have problems on the way. I've been saying this from the first game of Barcelona. This is a very good squad. This is full of talent, of young talent, and you have to give the opportunities. I think that they got enough talent over there just to replace Lamine Yamal. Yes, it will be moments where we try to think, okay, if Lamine Yamal was there, he should have done this or he would have done that. But in the end, I think that it's good enough to get the result. I don't think the Barcelona is relying that much on Lamine Yamal, even though that we are talking about it, even though the Barcelona is going to miss him. But I think that they got so much talent. I mean, I try to think about Dani Olmo being there, Fermin Lopez being there, we got Pedri. That is not going to play there, but they are going to have and bring something special from the middle. So I think it's good enough, this Barcelona, to get a good result.